Welcome back to the Crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is forming a new price pattern that we need to pay attention to after the Bitcoin price just exactly took out the liquidity that I've been talking about over the last couple of days, as the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the major dump towards the downside, helping the altcoin market and the altcoin season, especially Ethereum, continuing the major pump very close towards this significant area of resistance, while the price of Solana is also getting extremely close to this next major price target, while the price of Chainlink is just now starting to run into this significant area of resistance. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin and crypto charts today, we need to take a look at the Bitcoin news today, because Michael Saylor just once again announced that Strategy, the company Strategy, has just bought another massive amount of Bitcoin. This time around, they bought around 6,220 Bitcoin for almost $740 million US dollars at an average price of close to $119,000 per Bitcoin. And so obviously this is a relatively large purchase, especially for Strategy. And in case you're wondering, Strategy, the company, is now currently holding over 607,000 Bitcoin that they acquired for a total of around 43 billion US dollars. But right now, that Bitcoin is worth a lot more than that 43 billion. And in case you're new to all of this, purchases like this don't always immediately impact the price of Bitcoin, because, for example, Strategy and other large players utilize strategies basically to reduce their impact on the price of Bitcoin when making these purchases, in order to actually make the purchase without spiking the price or dumping the price in the case of a sell order. And so that's why we often don't see an immediate impact in the price of Bitcoin when we have a large purchase like this by a large player. But over the long term, as more and more Bitcoin is being bought and held by these large players, essentially reducing the available supply of Bitcoin for people to purchase, obviously this is going to force the price of Bitcoin towards the upside over the long term if this continues, due to the limited amount of Bitcoin to remain. But obviously this is a long-term thing for the price of Bitcoin, that long-term price squeeze, as there's less and less Bitcoin to go around. This is not something that's going to happen in just 24 hours or 1 week or even 1 month. This is going to play out over many, many years, as more people want the few remaining Bitcoin that's actually in the supply of Bitcoin. Obviously, this is going to force the price of Bitcoin towards the upside. It's simple economics, supply and demand. And obviously, it's already starting to do it. As we can see, the long-term chart for Bitcoin is pretty much always extremely bullish. Occasionally, we see a little crash or a bear market here and there, but over the super long term, talking about 5 to 10 years plus, Bitcoin is looking extremely bullish. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin price charts today, here on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. So whatever happens here in the short term on the smaller time frames, just remember, zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, we're still in a bull market. And on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, there's still a possible bearish divergence forming right now, but not yet confirmed. And on this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, the 3-day Bitcoin MACD is still looking more bullish than bearish. We've not confirmed any new bearish crossover or anything, but at least for now, we are losing a little bit of bullish momentum in the shorter term, so keep that in mind. And on this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, we still have an active bullish cup and handle pattern still currently playing out. And in case you're wondering, the technical price target for this cup and handle pattern is still sitting at around $153,000 per Bitcoin. But I want to make it clear, at least for now, obviously we have resistance between the current price and that price target, where the price is struggling at, as I've said many times over the last week or so. And of course, if we were to actually break back below around 110,000, this level right here, then that would invalidate this price pattern, and so that would invalidate this price target. But considering we're still holding above 110,000, technically the pattern and the price target still currently active. It's just in the shorter term, looking at the daily time frame, obviously we're still struggling just underneath some major resistance, sitting in the low $120,000 area. So basically in between around 120,000 to 123,000 approximately. In that price range, expect the price to struggle or possibly reject from that area, which is what I've been saying basically every day since before we hit that exact area and started to struggle in that area. And so continue to expect a lot of resistance, a lot of struggle around that area on the price chart. But of course, considering we're still within a larger bullish trend, playing out bullish momentum in a bull market, obviously this is basically causing the price to just consolidate sideways. We're not necessarily bearish right now. We're just taking a bit of a break and struggling around major resistance. And if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, we can clearly see that in the immediate short term, talking about a period of hours or days, we have almost no momentum to either direction. Once again, we're just chopping around sideways in the immediate short term, just underneath some major resistance, but still within a much larger bull market. And of course, over the last 2 days, when the price was right around here, I said that it's extremely likely that the price will go down towards around 116.7k approximately, so close to 116,500 towards that exact level, and then see a bounce from that level. And of course, just over the last 1 day, that's now exactly played out as predicted to the nearest $100 in the price of Bitcoin. We went to the exact level that I talked about and then bounced from that level exactly as predicted. And that was thanks to this Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Obviously, this has been very accurate for quite some time now, as I've been sharing it very transparently here on this channel, because essentially, in case you're new to all of this, usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where there's a lot of liquidity, especially if it's relatively close to the price of Bitcoin. Now, as always, there's no such thing as a 100% guarantee, but essentially it's very likely to do that. And basically, over the last few days, we were building a lot of liquidity at around 116.6k to 116.7k. So over the last few days, I said expect a slight little drop to that exact level, and then most likely a bit of a bounce towards this upside liquidity after that exact drop to that exact level. And obviously that exactly played out, as we could see. And if we're taking another look at that Bitcoin liquidation heat map, obviously now that the price of Bitcoin has already taken out that liquidity, what are the other levels of liquidity to watch out for? And well, right now we don't have a significant level, a major level to watch out for. So we simply just have to wait and see for a new level to really start to build, like what we saw over the last few days. But we do have a decent amount of liquidity starting to build at around 121,000 and a small amount at around 116,000. But the main level to focus on, at least for now, is 121,000. But for now, it's not as significant as that previous level at 116.6k to 116.7k. So it's slightly more likely that we'll head slightly towards the upside like this, but it's not as strong of a possibility compared to that possibility that will dip to that exact level, as I said, over the last few days. And so ideally, we just have to wait and see for more liquidity to start to build in this chart right here. But if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, we can see that while the price of Bitcoin is just bouncing around sideways, consolidating sideways just underneath significant resistance, we're forming a new price pattern known as a symmetrical triangle pattern, also known as a horizontal triangle pattern, with a descending line of resistance and an ascending line of support. And right now, this ascending line of support is sitting at around 117.4k approximately, and this line of resistance is sitting at approximately 119.2k. And if we're measuring from the current price towards the apex of this triangle, that's in roughly around 3 days from now, give or take, which essentially means over the next 3 days, at some point within the next 3 days, it's obviously basically guaranteed that we have to exit this pattern either below this line of support or above this line of resistance. And then as soon as we confirm that signal, whether we break support or resistance, that can activate a trading strategy in that direction towards that activated price target. But in case you're new to all of this, we don't even have to know the direction beforehand. We just have to know what signal to watch out for in order to possibly open a trade. And then of course, the invalidation signal in order to get out of a bad trade. And of course, a potential take profit point to actually reduce the size of the trade or close the trade at certain points on the price chart. And so for as long as you have that information for either scenario, as soon as one of the scenarios starts to play out, as soon as we get the entry signal, basically you just go with that scenario and continue to profit in the direction that the price is breaking. And so for example, if the price of Bitcoin confirms, let's just say a 4-hour candle close above this line of resistance and ideally above this little high right here at around 119.4k approximately, candle closes above these levels, in that situation, that would be a breakout signal actually confirming for this price pattern, setting up a bullish price target. And if we're measuring out that technical price target, that's sitting at approximately $125,000 per Bitcoin. So from the breakout right here to that price target, that's almost a 5% move towards the upside. And so let's just say if we take that trading opportunity, once again with a long position, once we confirm the breakout towards that price target in this period in the market right here, let's just say if we take a bit of profits closer towards some resistance and closer towards the price target, this is the period in the market where we actually profit from that trade, and then we start to close the trade closer towards the price target. Obviously, as always, not financial advice. That's just an example of a trading strategy that only comes into play, only activates if we first break out above this line right here. And then as always, the point of invalidation would be if we confirm the breakout above this level right here and then break back below that level with candle closes back inside the triangle. That would invalidate the breakout towards the upside and invalidate this price target. So in other words, I would have a stop loss just below the point of invalidation in order to take a small loss in the worst case scenario to avoid further losses if the trade goes bad. So that is the short-term risk with this sort of trading strategy. And then of course, if the trade moves further into profits, personally, I like to move my stop loss at least towards my entry, towards my break even, ideally moving my stop loss further into profits as the trade continues to move into profits. And then of course, if we never even confirm the breakout above this line to begin with, we never even activate that trading strategy for the bullish scenario, which means we never even open the trade at all if we never confirm the breakout here. So let's just say if we see another rejection and then ultimately break below this line of support, then in that situation, we're basically activating the exact same trading strategy, but in the bearish direction using a short position rather than a long position. And so let's just say if the price confirms a break below this line of support, and ideally confirming a candle close below these lows just here at around 117.3k. In that situation, that would set up a bearish price target for this price pattern sitting at around 111.8k. So just underneath 112,000, very close to 112,000 as a short-term bearish price target. But that once again only comes into play if we first confirm a break below this level on the price chart. And so let's just say if we confirm 4-hour candle closes below this level, once again activating the bearish price target, in that situation that could potentially be an entry signal to open a short position. As always, not financial advice, just sharing an example of a trading strategy. Let's just say if you were to short somewhere around here towards the price target, that's roughly a 4% move, a bit over a 4% move towards the downside, and that's with no leverage. Or for example, a 10x leverage short position would be around a 40% profit on your initial money, your initial margin. And then as always, if we break to the downside below this line of support and then break out back above that line of support, in that situation, that would invalidate this price target to the downside and invalidate this trading strategy, essentially meaning obviously having a stop loss just to the upside above the point of invalidation in the case of a short position in order to just take a small loss and avoid further losses in the worst case scenario for a short position. And then as I always say, usually I like to move my stop loss further into profits as the trade moves further into profits so that in the worst case scenario, you're always making profits. But once again, that's just all an example of a trading strategy, not financial advice. And so all we have to wait and see is just a break of either support or resistance in order to activate one of those trading strategies to actually trade towards the price target or towards points of support and resistance to take profits out of those trades. So once again, we can set up a trading plan no matter what direction the price goes. As crypto traders, we can always make money in crypto for as long as there's at least a little bit of volatility. And so this is the time in the market where you need to be prepared. You need to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange to take advantage of the next trading opportunity. And personally, I'm taking a lot of my crypto trades over on BTNX, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading and deposit bonuses. For example, up to 40,000 USD in trading bonuses. And also, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your BTNX account. But that's only available if you use the link below this video to actually make your BTNX account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take that next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using that first link below this video to BTNX to take advantage of these major bonuses here, trading and deposit bonuses. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, there's also 2bit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can also claim some massive trading and deposit bonuses. For example, you can claim up to $30,000 in trading bonuses here. And there's also deposit bonuses here. For example, if you deposit just $100, you get a $30 bonus into your account. And then you can also get these larger bonuses as well. So once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take that next trading opportunity, definitely check out these exchanges, links below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the 3-day time frame, and right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing a major dump as we speak, and as I've been saying every day for weeks now on the channel, and of course this is causing an altcoin season. In other words, a lot of the major altcoins out there are outperforming Bitcoin, and exactly like what I said right here, and also said right here, this bearish divergence has no signs of slowing down. This is still pointing towards more bearish price action for the Bitcoin dominance, exactly as I've been saying since all the way back up here. But this is not necessarily bad news for the price of Bitcoin. For example, Bitcoin's just trading sideways while we're seeing a major dump in the Bitcoin dominance. What this simply means, in case you're new to all of this, is that it's very good news for the altcoin markets. The altcoins are having some major gains right now, obviously depending on the altcoin, but a lot of the major altcoins are doing very well. And so for now, there's no signs of this slowing down, which means at least for now, expect more bearish price action for the Bitcoin dominance, which once again is good for the altcoin season. And if we're taking a look at the price of Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, at least for now, we're continuing the massive bullish move towards this very significant area of resistance, still sitting at around 3.9k to 4.1k. So at roughly around 4,000, give or take, we have very significant resistance there, as we can see. Also, 4,000 is obviously a strong psychological level. And so do not be surprised if we see a lot of profit taking over the next few days, closer towards 4,000 especially, but really over the next few days as we're approaching this resistance, it is quite likely a lot of traders will start taking some profits from Ethereum due to the fact that we're running into this strong psychological level and an area where we've previously seen many significant rejections from. Now, of course, it's entirely possible we ultimately continue the bullish trend later on, but just expect a lot of struggle around this area is all I'm saying. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum price chart, obviously just over the last one day, we've now officially confirmed a daily candle close above 3.7k, which was a little bit of short-term resistance as we could see, which means now expect support at 3.7k. So if for whatever reason we were to see a little rejection or a slight little pullback, expect support at 3.7k, more support at 3.5k, and also more support in between 3.2k to 3.3k. But clearly the trend, the momentum, and price structure is very bullish right now for Ethereum. Just be aware that it will be perfectly normal to see some sort of little cool off or profit taking at some point in the next few days. Most likely this week, we could see finally a little bit of a break from all of this bullish price action here. So just don't be surprised if we do see that at some point soon. But overall, once again, the trend can still remain bullish, even if we see a little bit of a break or a cool off during the larger bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, as of recording this video, Solana is now testing the important golden pocket area of resistance in between around 191 to 199. And if we confirm a daily candle close above 199, ideally confirming above 200, in that situation, we could likely see a major bullish move towards this next Fibonacci level sitting at around $230. So just measuring that move from roughly 200 or 199 to 230, that's around a 16% move towards the upside with no leverage, or for example, with just a 10x leverage long position, that would be over 160% profit in that example. And clearly the trend, momentum, and price structure is looking extremely bullish for the price of Solana right now, especially while the Bitcoin dominance is dumping. Once again, this is great news for the altcoin market, as we can clearly see. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term, looking at the 8-hour Solana price chart, as of recording this video, we are just now about to hit my exact technical price target that I've been talking about every day here on the channel since this exact breakout down here at around $158. Obviously, every day since then at 158, especially at these multiple retests here, flipping previous resistance into new support, and also especially once we broke out above 167, this level of resistance right here. Essentially, these were multiple entry points if you wanted to enter a long position, for example, or buy Solana to trade this bullish move towards this exact price target. And obviously, if you ended up doing that, right now you would be making a lot of easy profits in the crypto market. But let's just say if you were in a long position right now, obviously it would be a wise decision to potentially think about taking some profits out of a long position, not necessarily having to close the entire trade, but just at least taking some profits off the table, as we are now approaching the price target and also running into potentially some major resistance. But as always, not financial advice. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, clearly we're still within a larger bull market. Once again, we're still at all-time high levels, looking extremely bullish, targeting the next major Fibonacci extension level, the 618 Fibonacci extension level on the weekly time frame, sitting at around $4.60 to $4.70. And at least for now, we also have a possible bearish divergence currently forming, as we do have higher highs confirmed in the price in the candle closes and lower highs forming in the weekly RSI for the price of XRP. But at least for now, once again, this is just currently forming and not confirmed, not currently in play. But it is extremely likely that maybe in a few weeks from now or in a couple of months from now, we could likely confirm this bearish divergence. But once again, not right now. It's not currently in play. So we're still looking very bullish on the weekly time frame, targeting these higher prices. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, obviously over the last few days, for the last half a week, we've broken out above the previous all-time high at around 340, give or take. And we've actually retested the previous area of resistance here, 330 to 340, to flip that into new support. And we've actually now bounced from that area, which is extremely bullish to see. Anytime we break out above a significant area and then actually flip that into new support, that is very bullish price structure. And so as I've been saying over the last 1 to 2 days, honestly expect as a very likely scenario for the price to continue towards all-time highs again, considering at least for now, once again, we're bouncing from an important level. And of course, if we were to break back below around 330 to 340, in that situation, it is actually possible we could drop down towards around $3 to $3.10. So the lower $3 area as the next significant level of support, and also based on this Fibonacci level at around $3. But for now, once again, we're still looking extremely bullish. And as always, also keep an eye on what the Bitcoin dominance is doing, and also the price of Bitcoin to some degree, but especially if the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to look like this, that is once again great news for the altcoin market, causing an altcoin season right now. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, currently Chainlink is continuing the breakout above this very significant area of resistance, which was sitting in between around $17.50 to $18. We're also playing out a very significant double bottom pattern, a W pattern, as we can see. And as I talked about in my last video, that sets up a bullish price target sitting at close to $28 per Chainlink. So even from where we are right now to that price target, that's still around a 40% move towards the upside, 40, and that's with no leverage, or for example, a 10x leverage long position, a 400% profit in that example, not financial advice. Or if you took the trade already from the breakout point right here, closer towards $18, that's potentially around a 55% move towards the upside with no leverage. And so there's potentially still some major opportunities left on the table for the price of Chainlink, especially if the Bitcoin dominance continues to dump like this. Once again, that is great news for the altcoin market, as we could clearly see. And if we're taking a look at this daily Chainlink price chart, currently, as of recording this video, it is worth pointing out that the price of Chainlink is running into this golden pocket area of resistance, sitting in between around $20 to $21. So as I've already been saying over the last few days, over the last almost 1 week now, obviously expect some resistance, expect the price to struggle around that area on the price chart. But if we actually confirm, let's just say a daily candle close ideally above $21 and actually holding that as new support, in that situation, we could likely see a continued bullish move towards around $24. And then above that, I would expect a bit more resistance at just above $26, around $26 to $27. And then obviously we have that major price target at $28 once we can break through these major resistance levels. And as for support, in case we were to see any little pullback here or a rejection from this resistance, in that situation, expect a lot of support in this area in between $17.50 to $18, and also a lot of support, obviously, once again at this level, sitting at around $17.60, so in between $17.50 to $18, as I just said. And then if we were to break back below that area, also major support at around $15.50 if we were to get back down towards those levels. But for now, obviously, we're still looking extremely bullish when it comes to the trend and the momentum. It's just right now, obviously, pay attention to this resistance where the price could struggle or possibly reject from in the short term, but the larger trend is still currently bullish. And let me know what your favorite altcoin is. I'll try cover it in these videos, especially while we're in an altcoin season right now. So comment your favorite altcoin below this video, and I'll try to get around to the most commented or most popular altcoins first. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing in either direction, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can use long positions or short positions to profit during bullish or bearish price action, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit during choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.